Oh, how I wish you were here. Oh, how I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. How we found the same old fear. Wish you were here. Oh, how I wish you were still here. Oh, how I wish you were near. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. How we found the same old fear. Wish you were here. How we cried and we cried and we cried, the same old tears. Oh my God, I wish you were here. Oh my God, wish you were here. Oh, how I wish you were here. I would like to read you something I wrote now. I found myself in a field in the middle of nowhere, a vast lost place. I could say that something had hidden me here, but that wouldn't be true. No one is looking. I found myself in this field, a bare body of sky over yellow grass. This is a true story. I was as hollow as the earth was solid. Little flowers whispered everywhere. None of my songs were recorded. I sang about a man with gray eyes who lived in a box. I sang about the people he knew who lived in boxes too. About the birds who circled above the roofless boxes and how the people inside kept praying for freedom and forgiveness. My songs made me so sad I had to stop singing. And then I came here where I'm safe. I don't have anything left, just a cave, a big cold heart skull, a dream or two I never told, grief, memories that never got caught on camera. I take pictures. For example, tonight we saw a rattlesnake. I think something was wrong. I said, "That's Adi Shakti," but she's confused. It's all me, I get that. Tiger, we were once God. Did you know that? And I cringe rather than ache anymore. I stare out my window wondering where I am. This wrathful lake looks like the ocean, but it isn't. A few days ago, an eagle skimmed the surface and was gone. I almost thought, come back, but then I thought, what's the use? What's gone is gone. I even have this fish who's pretty much a friend of mine. At first, I thought I was imagining it, but no, it's true. Sadly, he isn't living in the ocean or the lake, but he lives in a glass box filled with water at the cafe downtown. I can barely stand looking at him. My bird friend told me fish have short memories. They don't remember one moment to the next, which means he doesn't know he's trapped for his entire life in a glass box filled with chemical laden water. So I walked up to him yesterday and I almost cried for myself, but instead I said, "Hi, my sweet friend." And he flapped his little flippers as if he thought he could fly, suspended in the water box. We would never touch. He would never remember me. His friends hovered around him, also trapped and suspended, pretending to be birds just like the rest of us. He stared into my eyes, and I wondered what he saw. His eyes were of a glassy storm gray. I know he remembers. Souls don't forget. Uncover me, please. I'm dying here. I pray to the sky. I pray to the clouds that fill my sky. My chest feels like a huge hollow cavity the size of the universe, and when you touch me, it trembles and stops. Like the fish inside the skull cave we visited, I imagined the immense dark hole to be like so many places inside me, and I found it strange that I could see inside this cave but not inside my own. I can only feel and ponder. I look outside of me at things like fish and eagles and the snake. I hold my little violent kitten who reminds me of the captive tiger we visited on the outskirts of Oregon, just pacing inside his electrical chain link prison with no way out. Funny how all the flowers keep growing anyway. And the tears keep falling just because we know and can't stop a thing from falling. Not an angel, not my heart from breaking all over the cold, hard floor. When you look at me, I show you whatever is there, whatever I found between us hurting or at loss. I think of the words in that song. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year, running over the same old ground, how we found the same old fear. How I wish you were here. These birds circle the heavy sky. These poor fish think they're flying. We pray looking up as if we just know something's up there. He purrs, this little sunshine, because he's pretending I'm his own. My heart beats hard sometimes, and you make me cry because the cave inside me is deeper than I can ever know, and when certain dark parts are reached, I remember I missed someone, something, or person, or memory that I hid from myself or that I buried thinking you'd died. But none of it's true. My mind holds the possibility of everything solid and unreal. Why did you leave me, God? I didn't leave. You just swam across your box, flapping and roaring, hissing and talking too much about philosophy and weather patterns. I said, be careful. Don't go outside at night. I think the rattlesnake is insane. It might be due to old age or the coming eclipse. I'm not sure, but be careful. She would bite without even knowing why or having a good reason. Last night I laid in bed with my window open and realized how she had always been so close, and yet I never knew. Still, we must have a connection beyond the mind. We must know each other deep inside. I did think this. I did feel less alone. And I do look at the wrathful lake differently now that I'm absolutely sure she's here drinking its water. So, when I talk about transformation in the process of transmutation or creating from our own content, our own unconscious mind, it's about the flow of the energy. It's about what we do when we go deep into that energy as deeply as we can and pull from that the beauty that we are, the creative process is a part of the suffering. Without the suffering, we do not have the creative power, and that is the greatest gift of being human. The human has two great things: the power to create artistically, and also the power to control the breath. That is the difference between us and other animals. They cannot control their breath consciously. So let's just do that for a couple minutes. Let's focus on our breath. Long, deep, slow breathing. You inhale. Long, deep, and slow breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, your body is filled with the white light. Exhaling, the white light. That you are this body of white light. That is the truth of the human being. Anything else is just the misconceptions that we are here to transform, that we are here to make beautiful. So we inhale all of those things about ourselves that we are resisting. Okay? We might not know we're resisting it, but we are resisting it. And the source of all suffering is resistance. So you inhale those things, those very subtle things that you are pushing back at about yourself, things you might think, about the ideas of your flaws, imperfections, mistakes, issues around your body, shame, guilt. You inhale. And embrace your humanity. Inhale and exhale that light. Long, slow inhaling. And as you inhale, the light rises. And exhale, the light falls. Inhale, the light expands. Exhale, the light condenses. Your body is white light, and that white light creates rainbows. And those rainbows create patterns. And those patterns depend on your mind. And your mind depends on those patterns. And so when we get the movement going energetically in the body, and we purify the body, we then embody that crystal white light that is the source of all things. We inhale and we exhale that light, and we stay conscious of the breath. If we make it a daily practice just to do that and stay conscious of the breath in any difficult circumstances, just go back to your breath. Make this moment beautiful, no matter how it feels. Just know there's only this. And the breath and that flow of divinity through you. This creative process, this creating that we do when things come our way that are uncomfortable, these feelings are very powerful fuel for the gifts we are here to leave for others. So we take this ball of frustration or suffering, and we realize that it is the fuel for our becoming, for our creating, for our knowing, for our transcending, not leaving behind something, but rising above it to see it from the perspective that allows us to make it useful and beneficial to others. And you just sit there until you hear the words or you feel a movement, and that you know that light is inside of you, and there is only one thing we can do, and we can focus on the facts. And the facts is that she, the mother light, the divine, whatever, feminine fire is alive in us. Whatever you want to call it, is alive in us beyond the rules and regulations, is alive in us beyond our ability to control. We surrender and we use our consciousness and we use our wisdom to steer the best we can, while at the same time surrendering to the fires of our lives. Certain times in our lives, we have more challenges. Other times we have more opportunities. It all is just this flow of grace. And it's our perception that allows us to find the key that opens another door. The keys are everywhere. There is never something that we are faced with that, with a proper perspective, we do not have the key to release ourselves from that bondage. Not only to release ourselves from the bondage, but to leave something beautiful behind. Our life, our being behind. Like, what will you leave here? More residue, more suffering, more confusion? Or will you leave here knowing that you took that suffering and made it into something? By your own heart and soul, made it into something that others who are suffering as you did can appreciate and use for their own awakening. And that doesn't mean fame and fortune. That means that content is always available in the collective sphere. That energy you leave is the energy that you give. It's how you truly love humanity. It's how you truly love your family and your friends. It's what you do with your own suffering and darkness. It's how you take it upon yourself, how you find the courage to be the one who takes it upon themselves, not as a martyr, but as a hero, takes it upon yourself to say, okay, this is a huge mess. I feel very overwhelmed by the immensity of this mess. But I will rise until I'm dead. Until I can't rise, I will rise. And even when I'm dead, I will rise. That really is the goal. But for now, I will continue to let go and release and create and release and let go and look behind me and see the path I'm leaving. And that is a path of transmutation, because I see what happened and I see what I did with what happened. I see what I did with what happened, and that's me. That's what I am. So, what I did with what happened is actually what I am beyond this body. What other people think is not really my problem. It may hurt me, it may affect me, it may frustrate me. Natural, that's one of the hardest parts. I mean, when you get to the point of a real, genuine spiritual life, whatever you want to call it, misunderstandings, being misunderstood, feeling alone, that's really a big part of it. And you can't escape it. So, um, yeah, we're always alone. Like, we're only seeing other people through our own lens, and that lens is how we see what we think this is. And what we think this is just, you know, what is any of it? I see you based on what this is and my experiences and what I've been through and how I'm like putting it all together in my head as I look at you. But I don't see you the same as this person sees you, right? And do you see me and do we see each other? And so, how are we relating? There is no one there until we find that place inside the roots of our heart where we suffer, where our soul abides. And we say, I know, and I'm going to go there and be with you. I'm going to find myself so that when I look at you, I can find you. And then we can be together. And then we can say God is one because we are the gift that we give. We are the work of art. We have to get into the flow, and that means everything in our lives has to move. It has to flow. The funny thing is to have the stillness, there needs to be the flow. Because when we are suppressing or stagnating, there's this like earthquake energy underneath us that just wants to explode because you cannot hold down the light. Holding down the light causes all sorts of perversions in people, you know? The thing is, like, the light's scary because it basically shows us things that we've been hiding from for a long time. That's why we're here. So we think we love the light and we think the light makes us feel good. The light shows us the truth. And it's like people see glimpses of that, and generally speaking, they turn from the light. And when they turn from the light, it's like this time you know too much. When you know and you turn away, it's much different than just being ignorant. That's why they say ignorance is bliss, because it kind of is when you do what you're doing without any awareness of it. But when you know and you turn, you just can't. You can't get in that river and not keep going. It's going to be a lot worse, a lot more suffering. So it's like, okay, we're in this place and it's like really hard. And it's really hard if you are really willing to accept what you see and not be in denial, because it's hard to accept what we see because we feel like this is really crazy and I don't want to be crazy. But it's like Ramakrishna said, either I'm crazy or the whole world is crazy. So you get to that place where it's like you are like, whoa, and they're like, hey, what's wrong with you? Join the club. Sell your soul, join the club, and we'll give you a title and we'll put you in a group and you'll be in a big family. But you have to live with yourself in the dark of the night. Okay? And those are your dreams, and those are your nightmares. And you have the key. And if you want it, you will have it. It's just that you have to use everything. We all have to use everything. I'm just talking about my own life. And I don't even know what I'm saying today, really. I just said I would make videos. I'm making videos, but there's so much going on and so much bombarding me. Accusations, you know, the big club against me, little me. Yeah, it feels like little me a lot of the time. And it's really hard to keep getting out of the way of that frustration. And there's anger that comes from the frustration because we don't know what to do. We want justice, right? But this is a different kind of anger than just anger. This is like the kind of fire that gets things done, but that fire might take a while to burn things away enough for you to see the truth underneath the big constructs of lies, the man-made lies that obscure your beauty. So do it alone. Go it alone. You won't be alone. Free yourself from the bonds, from the bondage of the imposition of what they want you to be and do, because that is holding you down. It is taking away your creative spark. In other words, this group energy would have you not be you. It would have you be a group person. But you are very unique, and all those things that you may think about you that are the things that you want to get rid of, such as what makes you different. Like, I don't mean like I'm so different, but I mean like really different. Your only strength lies in where you're different, and I mean really different. And I bet most people, and I've seen most people think that is a flaw, but you're going to have to go with it because not everyone can do what you can do. That's why you're you. So that may scare other people, and it may make you dangerous to them on that level of we have to keep the status quo to survive, because we're playing this human game where we're all pretending we're not dying, and we're accumulating, and we're rising in status, and we're collecting friends around us, and we're getting into VIP clubs, and we are making more money, and we are growing younger every day, and we're going to have children, and they're going to represent us even though we're never going to die. And we're just going to go on vacation and compete with other people and pretend we're not. And we're going to be super self-righteous and better. I'm going to be better than you. So that's generally the undercurrent. I mean, it all looks really good on the surface until things really get like down to the wire. Then the teeth come out, metaphorically speaking. Then you see, and you don't want to see. You're forced to see what it is. Okay? And what it is materialism, masked as many things. Our God power beyond money, fame, glory, youth, beauty, physical beauty, whatever that means, whatever was imposed on you, our real God power lies in the manifestation of our soul into the creative process. So we do the breathing, we keep our body moving, and we'll talk a lot more about those things. Tell me also what you want to talk about, because like someone else was saying, they appreciated certain things that I was talking about, and that will help me to know where people are at, because I don't know 90%, 80% of the people out there who are watching this, but I want to provide what was not provided for me. For a long time, I looked for all the guidance and everything, and I just couldn't find what I needed, even though I did the best with what I had. And so I realized if I can't find it, I'm going to be it the best I can for others, because I'll see others as myself, and I will give to myself everything that I did not have, which is someone who unconditionally accepts me and understands me and doesn't use me to glorify them or to give them money. It's just like nobody cares, and that's all about their self. How deep will you go to find the love? How far down will you go with the key to unlock the riches of your soul? The beauty in your voice, in your writing, in your art, in your dancing, in the stories that you can tell, in the thing that only you can do is there. I know you know. So that's why I have the blog, so that people can share their creativity there. Uncensored, it doesn't matter. And it's not people write to me and say, oh, one day when I'm a good writer, I'm going to write on this blog. That is not what it's about. It is not about censorship. It is not about perfection, because that is an illusion. And that is a way to deny yourself the beauty of the moment of what you feel right now, and just write it. Just write it. unleash the white horse within. Unleash it. Unleash it and be free, you know? And that's why I do, well, I've been doing the retreats, and I will be doing more retreats and maybe workshops where we basically cultivate and encourage and support the flow of this mother light so that we can be free to move. And we're not, like, it's hard enough, right? We're in this, like, we're encased in this gravity. The bondage is heavy, and we need to create the space for that process to open and unfold and release itself and rejuvenate ourselves and feed our soul the light. You know, we feed our body the food. We need to feed our soul the light, right? I mean, what are we capable of? What is our potential, and why aren't we living up to it? And I don't mean money. Even though I do know we need it, believe me, I know we need it, because no one can work for free. But we have to feed our souls, and we need to not feel alone in this process. And even though it's all crazy out there, we need a certain amount of support, genuine support. I mean, what's genuine for you maybe not be genuine for the next person. It just depends on where you're at. But I'm there to provide for anyone out there who resonates what I am, which is irrelevant, really. It's not like a claim of some position. It's just what I am. Here I am for you. That's what this is about. Here I am. And that's all I can ever be, is here I am, with 100% integrity, with honesty, with the most courage I can have. Here I am. That is God. Here I am. And I'm not saying be here now. I'm saying here I am. Being. I've spent so much of my life never being enough, never putting out enough, never being perfect enough, never providing, accomplishing enough. Like, the love I got was dependent upon what I could put out, what I could do for you. That's a big thing for me, you know? Like, I have to work for love. I have to be so indispensable that I then imagine I'm being loved. So it's like, you know, the typical thing, not a human doing a human being. I think it's a bigger problem for more people than they realize. And so what if I was just enough being me? What if that was godly enough, being you? And what if we came together and became one huge God? Do you understand what I'm saying? There's magic. There's magic there. So let's not forget and get weighed down. And these videos are just intended for inspiration, whatever you want to do with them, to give hope, even though I'll go there to the dark, depressing places. It's because I don't want to ignore it or deny it. Like, we have to go down to get up. We have to, like, realize what the problem is. So I go there based on my own thing, okay, or what I've been experiencing through others. And some days maybe I'm like more on it than other days, but you know, I'm trying. So it's hard. Life is really hard, challenging. Sometimes it feels like there is no way out of the corners that we get caught in. And we wonder what we've done to ourselves, or how we're going to change it, or how we're going to get in a position where we can be everything that we know we can be. So the best thing we can do is what I've been trying to do, and it's just not that easy, but is to support openly other people. Like, I ask people to comment on the blog because I write it to give people a place to do things out loud. And yet all these people read it, and like 1%, 2% comments regularly. But I do it and I reveal, and I do this to set the example. All I'm trying to do is set the example on what I found works. Is like there's so much poison, there's so many secrets. We were trained to keep the secrets down, to hold the poison down, to take it all into ourselves, like we are the dirty one, like we are the shamed and the guilted one. It's all these childhood things. They infect our lives, they ruin our relationships. We need to get it out and then figure out what to do with it. Like, first, let's just get it out. And I don't mean discuss in detail what you think may be the problem, even though if you want to, you can. I'm saying just write it. Like, go make friends with your unconscious mind. You know, the place where dreams are made, where you dream at night, where you have nightmares. That place will talk to you when you develop a relationship with it. And how you do that is you tune in. This is the dark part of the mind, the dark side of the moon. Now, our liberation from this confusion is based on our unconscious mind being filled with light. So when our unconscious mind and our conscious mind are as one, which is easier said than done, we are in union. This is the yoga. This is the yoga where dreams are made and dreams are not separate. The waking dream, the sleeping dream, the dream, God is the dream. So we do the things to enter into that other side of our mind, to get it going, to move it. It might not always be comfortable, and that's why I created the support. That's why I do the retreats. That's why I do everything I do, really. That's why I do it. Because that will sabotage us. That will undermine every effort we have at progress. And I know when we really go there, it takes us there, and it's never where we want to go, myself included. It gets darker every time because we got a lot down there, and we have just got to appreciate when things are really hard, something really good must be happening right now. That's what I've been telling myself lately. It's like I just feel like a tree torn out of the ground, thrown on the side of the road, the roots exposed. And you just like lay there, this tree torn out of the ground, and I'm like, God, this is weird. This must be really important. This must be really powerful spiritual growth. So when we view the experiences like that, and we get in the right environment and we do the right actions to make something of it, like I'm trying to do now the best I can, that's the grace of our God within. That is the grace of the Mother Light. That is based on our purity of heart. Because while I may go down for a while, and I definitely have my hard days, minutes, seconds, maybe in 5 minutes, that we know it's for our benefit. It's all here for us, okay? It is the light shining on the flower of you. Will you open to the light is the question. Will I open to the light? Because it's sometimes very painful, our hearts. And when other people are involved and we can't control anything, and we have to really believe there's something bigger at work. Like, we have to really believe it. There's parts of us where, like, I don't know, I would rather control the situation. But can't always do that. So this is where I end and God begins. Letting go, surrender, the white light. We don't reject anything about our feelings or our supposed negativity. We just let it flow. And I know it's not easy, but we do a little bit at a time. And when you feel bad, write a poem. Put that pen on the paper and just start writing. Don't try to rhyme. Don't try to like erase your words. You just write your words. You write this to yourself. This is like your subconscious mind telling you everything you need to know. It's a riddle. It's a clue. You are the oracle. And don't forget it, that you are the oracle of your own divinity. You are the prophet of your own life. You wrote the Bible, you wrote the book, you have the religion in your soul. You do not need someone telling you the rules. You know when you go, you know. And the deeper you go, the more you know. And the darker it gets, the closer you are to unlocking that door that keeps you from God and only God, meaning fearless light, meaning nobody will stop me. Okay, no fear. Talking to myself, remember. So, and we don't need to be like some guitar master. We don't need to be like Picasso. We don't need to have an idea of what we need to be to do something that we want to do that is therapeutic for us. Okay? This is a group activity. This is not you and all these people in the audience watching the great one do their thing. This is about you being the great one and you doing the thing for the benefit of all sentient beings to take the darkness into your body as the vessel that will transmute it into this thing. And this thing, whatever comes out of you, is the perfect thing, the God made thing, the purifying alchemical thing of art. So I play the guitar. I'll do anything I want to do, and I will do it, and it will shine. Because that's what you are. You are the shine of God. Okay? And we have to keep remembering because it's very hard and dark and stressful. There's a lot of oppression and suppression and violence out there. And the only place we can stop it is within ourselves. And so I did the best I could, and I am with you in however I can be. And I hope this benefits you and that you remember that you are everything you ever wanted to be right now. Okay? Thank you for listening. Om Mani Padme Hum. Jewel is in the lotus, never left the lotus. Okay? All my love. See you soon.